as spirits that can help us in shaping our life, and they play different roles. For us, we have a beautiful like a grey-crested sea eagle, which is what we know in our language as Marawati. And Marawati is the eagle that looks after our land. And our people believe that in the time of transition, when we pass over, that Marawati swoops down in the middle of our ceremony and captures our spirit and our soul, and basically scoops it up and then flies us across our land so that we can see all of our traditional country, through the eyes of the eagle one last time, but as we're flowing up into that ancestral world. For us, different animals, the willy wagtail, which is sort of this little dancing bird, when we see this bird dance in front of us, we often relate to maybe something's not right, that someone may be getting sick, or someone's making that getting ready to make a transition.
So it connects us with our intuitive voice, our own intuition.
Yeah. And even here in California, I had this beautiful experience the other day in the back garden of the house where I'm standing now, is that there was a cicada, or what we know as cicadas, flew into the back garden, and I was standing out here, and I had just finished, smudging myself, and the cicada flew into the back garden and went flying into the glass window where I was standing, and it just kept swooping into the window, and I started speaking to the cicada, saying, knowing that the lifespan of a cicada isn't that long, I started saying, is it time for you to go? Or is it time for you to leave? And don't be afraid to leave. That death is something that should be celebrated, and you should never run from it. You should embrace that time of transition. I was saying this and whispering it to the cicada, and it flew. It basically turned around from the window and then flew out of the garden. And I watched it sort of fly circles around the tree, and then it came back and crashed into the same window. And I just kept talking to it, saying, it's safe, that if you need to go, if you need to let go, it could be time for you to go. And it's fine. That's fine for you to make that transition. And the cicada hovered up and landed right on my nose.
Wow.
And just sat there on my nose, and making its screeching noise like it did. And the owner of the house...
What was it saying to you, Jeremy?
Well, the thing was that I was saying that, to pass away, to transition, it's safe, it's time to go. And it was acknowledging me, acknowledging it, and then it just left my nose and flew up. And the next night, I had a dream about making that transition, about, someone passing away. And the dream was that I was in a church, and it was a funeral, but I didn't know anyone in the funeral, and people were taking photographs inside the funeral and next to the coffin. I was trying to see who it was in there, but I didn't know the person or anyone in there. And then that morning when I woke up, the lady who owns the house here that I stay at received a phone call that her uncle had just passed away. And I think the relationship, what was happening there was that I was, through the cicada and through that dream, I was really picking up the intuitiveness that this soul, the spirit, was making that transition to move on.
Yes. Yes. The fabric is all we're all connected through the fabric of time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so animal relationship is a huge thing, and being acknowledged by animals, if we're, out in the bush and a bunch of what we know as eastern water dragons come out and start to nod their heads at you in acknowledgement, we hold that in huge respect and huge regards, is that our kin, which are the animals, are acknowledging our presence and the work that we're doing here.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. So, yes, I love the work with the animal spirits and the animal spirit guides and as animal spirit messengers and all. I think it's such a help. They can be such aids to us. And also, our spirit ancestors. I think that you can really be connected with not only your ancestral spirits, but I think that they're spiritual messengers that come in all kinds of guises, you might say, to us to speak and help us. So, would you be open to sharing some of the Yidaki with us as a form of maybe help with a little, like an example of a healing session with us,
yes,
or something to take us on some sort of a journey or something? That would be wonderful.
I could do that.
That would be great.
In a moment, I'll just go and I'll grab it. But the other thing that I was going to say is that, you know, like spirits and acknowledgement of spirit is, for me, when my grandfather passed away, I was so afraid that I hadn't learned enough from him in the short time that I'd known my grandfather. And the reasoning for me to recording that CD, Never Alone, Walking with Spirit, was based on the relationship that I had with my grandfather, because I soon learned that I was learning as much from my grandfather in spirit that I did when he was here in the physical with me. And I hear his voice and I smell him before I do my work, and I know that he's so present in all of the work that I do. And so that fear of never being alone was dissipated, because I knew that no matter where I was never alone.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. I had a wonderful relationship with my grandmother, and I know she's with me and guides me, and I know I get a lot of help from the spiritual world with ancestors and all, and I feel like I want to tune more into that. So
I'll just grab my yiggy and heading. So I'm just gonna play a little bit, and I just ask all the listeners and yourself just to take a few nice, deep, open breaths, and really breathing and being conscious of bringing that breath deep down into the stomach, and then as you exhale, feeling the breath pass over the heart and bringing a clarity to the dupuro, to the mind. Natalangana yo puro, why natalangana yo pure. Oh, that was amazing. My body was responding. I had some gurgling and yeah.
That was wonderful. So I had one other question I wanted to ask about. Could you tell us something about your consultancy work that you've done, Jeremy? You work with adolescents in both urban and remote areas throughout Australia, helping young people reconnect with their identity, of their origins.
Yeah.
Could you talk about that?